and cons, pros and cons. The world blames dad when it's really your mom. Pros and cons. Yeah. What's cracking? I know we're late. We usually come on at 7, but better late than never.
You know, I had some things to do today.
It was an interesting day. I got a laundry spot right here by my house, and we went to go. My buddy Richard over here brought his laundry Ruxpin. It's his real name.
What's up, everybody?
And so we went over to the laundromat, and a mask is required to be in the place. And I found it funny because I realized it hit me. I was like, wait a second, I have to buy a product from a different business to enter into another business to use their product. Kind of weird.
What up, Smitty? Smitty's in the chat.
What's up, Schmitty, Schmitty, bang, bang?
Schmitty.
Cons, pros and cons. The world blames mom when it's
The world blames your dad.
Oops. The world blames your dad when it's really your mom.
Evening, Schmitty. Good evening. Good evening. How you doing, Schmitty? He's actually you're a really good mod.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. You're modulous.
Yeah,
Like
you're
marvelous.
you're even-handed.
I need more creamer though. I don't have enough creamer in here. It looks nuts.
He needs to sweeten that coffee.
You know what I'm saying?
What's up, Kristen? What's up, Marky Mark? COVID-19
Brought to
tested
you by
positive for
International
fraud.
Delight, sweet cream, ice cream.
I'm not a creamer dude, but that's not a bad choice if you gotta have some.
Oh, he's a creamer dude. Trust me.
So, how's your guys' Friday? It was hot as hell. It's like 110 degrees out
Yeah,
here.
doing laundry was a bitch.
Yeah.
Laundries are my favorite thing to do, especially on a 100-degree day, and then pulling all the hot clothes out of the dryer.
I want to get married just so I don't have to do laundry again. That's it.
What's his name?
Kristen just got home from a bonfire.
Oh, nice.
What? Did you have to wear masks?
Well, we just got home to a Bros and Cons fire.
That's right. There's a fire in the sky.
Bros and Cons. The
World blames your dad, but it's really your mom. Richie Evans, welcome. No
Hey,
masks.
Richie. Hey, Richie.
Yeah, I haven't done a bonfire in forever. They do them in Huntington Beach. They got the pits out there, and that's actually where they've been doing a lot of protests against this lockdown. So that's hopefully we'll take the beaches back.
I like bonfires simply because if I'm going to be at the beach, I'd rather go at night because, well, I burn.
Yeah, this guy is very sensitive to the sunlight.
I've given up, man. I'm not going to, I remember a long time ago when I was a kid, I wanted to be tan because I lived in Orange County, and it's like I was the real minority. I was the real white guy out in this, place where all these white people are tan. And I went to my friend's house and jumped on his trampoline, and my buddy's like, he's like, you could get tan. Here, put some of this on, and gave me tanning oil. Put it on, jumped on the trampoline all day long, right? I had to go to the hospital. I got sun poisoning. I missed school for a few days. It was bad.
That's crazy. We went on a photo mission one day with my buddy Travis, just to Hollywood, maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And this guy was 3rd-degree sunburns on his arms.
Yeah. And then I realized, it's just not me, man. I'd rather stay inside, shelter myself. That way I don't, get older and look like Leatherface.
Yeah, he doesn't want to look nuts like
Yeah.
like Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Christian says ginger is the master race, though.
Alcohol will do that too. The people that are really white and drink alcohol, bloated alcoholics.
Yeah, you get that leathery skin, methed out look, just looking crazy.
Yeah, luckily I don't really drink. I'm not gonna say I don't drink, but
Stephen Will, what's up, Stephen?
Hadn't drank in a long time.
Mark said San Diego Beach is open, phase 1 Monday at sunrise. Good. But it's crazy, man. It's all ridiculous. Like everything, there's been so many doctors and studies and everyone, and these people aren't like Trumpers. They're just professionals, and they're all saying it's nonsense and there's no need to do this.
I think it's obvious to me that if I post on social media or something, people get triggered just by the talking points of what we're saying, that they think that it's, because they hate Trump so much, they just automatically go against it, and they're like, no. And it's just clear that they just don't like Trump. So anything that goes against what he says or with what he says, they have to go against it.
Yeah, I had someone. Prime example. My buddy posted about Trump and this whole. So he claimed that we should inject ourselves with disinfectants when he didn't. He was just saying that those UV light and disinfectants, when using to clean surfaces, work really fast, and it'd be nice to study and look into trying to make something like that they can use intravenously. That's exactly what he was saying. Intravenously.
Intravenously.
Intravenous.
If I was Asian, that could be my name. Travenously.
Travenously. But this one girl commented, trying to start off intellectual, and as soon as I, just kind of held my ground and re-explained it, and then I mentioned, she brought up the grab 'em by the pussycat, and I told,
that's an old one.
Yeah, and I told her that whole hot mic thing. If you listen to that, another example of out of context, he was talking about gold digging, social climbing, loose women. Specifically, how easy it is for these groupies.
I've seen it firsthand, man. Over the years being in the industry with music and all that stuff, I've hung out with a few celebrities, been to parties and stuff, and I've seen it firsthand that girls, certain kind of girls, not all girls, but these girls that, hang around the famous guys with money and stuff like that, they flock. And there's this one guy in particular, I won't say any names, but he had like 10 girls around that would always hang around, and they'd always be like, I'm really cool. Yeah, I'm cool with everything. And there would be one mother goose that'd be like the one that was closest to him that thought that, oh, I got him, he's mine. And then the other girls would all kind of act like they were cool, but secretly you could just smell their hatred towards her because they're like, I'll have a chance. And they would just do anything they could. It was like a bunch of little wolvettes trying to, and so I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, it was very specific. So as soon as I mentioned that was a terrible example to bring up and actually reinforce my position that she's taken it out of context, the next comment she said, you piece of crap, go to hell, hope
Don't
you
ruin
die.
our monetization though.
It just flipped her lid. And it was great though because my buddy who posted it, can see that for himself because he also is not a big Trump fan. He was a little emotional. And he had nothing to say. I was like, check out your friend here. Like, how crazy is that? And you're supposed to love people and be for helping humanity, and here you are wishing people would die because they disagree with you. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's why, like I said, it's not about party, it's not about agendas, biases, all those things. All I care about is the spirit that people have. If they have anger, I don't care what party or side you're on. I'm going to steer clear. I'm not going to hate you, but I'm going to definitely discern who you are and move forward to gather myself around people that don't have anger, because people that love what's right, they're just different.
And they won't hate you for disagreeing. If you really have love, you're not going to hate somebody for their opinion.
Yeah.
You may not, find it helpful to be around certain people because they're so negative, but if you hate people for their opinion and their stance, the problem is you.
Those people are most likely the ones that say unconditional love. Because love doesn't have conditions anyway, so it's an oxymoron to say unconditional love. Because love doesn't have conditions. And these type of people put conditions on things. You better agree with me and be an exact clone of me, or I will turn on you.
Right, and wish death upon you. Even though, I'm going to vote for Trump in November.
Uh-oh.
But I'm critical of certain people in his circle. I don't like Kushner. I think that guy's a snake in the grass. Every time there's a decent move by Trump, that guy seems to always push for things that don't prioritize American workers. And so, you can't just blindly support him either. You should be objective, not be passionate about it, keep some space between you and them. That way you can see it and know what to do. Nobody, not to say nobody's perfect, but you don't know these people. You can't peer into their soul. So you just gotta watch their actions and move accordingly. Wish everyone could see it like this. Bridget Bear. Yeah, it'd be nice.
But the thing is when it comes to voting time and all that, there's no options really. I haven't seen anybody but Trump on the Republican side. There's no advertisements or anybody that you could choose besides him. And if you look at the Democratic Party and all their options, it's insane. How do you even... And then you see people that are like, oh, anybody but Trump. And then they'll pick, Biden or something like that. And it's like, dude, this guy has Alzheimer's, dementia. Like, have you heard the things he says? Or it's like, what are you saying? It's like, the rowboat down the street off the canoe was a great party at the exchange. And you're like, what?
How many hot dogs can fit inside a doghouse? None, because ice cream has no bones. Yeah, he's nuts. I got a leftist friend who doesn't really like Trump. He's very critical. He's not super angry about it, but he's got emotions. Even he says, he's like, wow, I got only one choice to vote for because he's a Democrat, and he doesn't like the fact that Biden's the nominee. He doesn't want to vote for him, but he feels obligated to do it. And he probably will do it just because he doesn't like Trump, which is crazy. Wouldn't it be crazy if Trump was just controlled opposition of evil who has millennia of experience and manipulation? Says Dane. Yeah, what motivation, Dane? What motivation? I never thought we'd be this socialist, even if Hillary won. She would have had opposition, but the Trump bros are trusting the plan while we go full commie. Yeah, I know about that Q stuff too, and I'm not banking on anything and no expectations, but it is interesting that a lot of this stuff, like Trevor said in the last stream, we've lost more freedoms under Trump than we have under Obama. I mean, at least immediately. I mean, right now, look at us. We're
if you look at it black and white, all the stuff that's happening is happening under his presidency. Because I also don't want to be, a fan. I want to be, I want to be objective and sit back and just look at things and what's right and wrong. And I'm not like I'm an expert on anything, but I don't want to be, have that bias that people have. It's like one thing I've said before. I don't know when I said it, but I know I've said it. Is that the people on the left, I notice, use celebrities and influence and everything like that to try to seduce people to get votes because of the status and stuff that they're around. Like they'll use like Lady Gaga or Miley Cyrus or whoever they decide to like. Oh, I'm vouching for this person, Taylor Swift, and it only happens on the left. They use kids to like guilt trip you.
That little European girl, the climate change.
Yeah, like they use the young kids in so many different ways. And on those commercials and all kind of stuff, like the kids at the cages at the border, or whatever. And if I like, it's obvious to me. I don't see that on the right. It's different. And I'm trying my best to see the wrong side of the right side, but it's like, and I'm not even like fully right. I'm just, the left pushed me over there, and I'm more so like in the middle. Like I took one of those little Facebook tests, they're like, what are you? And I was like, I don't know. So I do it, and it said that I was center right. So I thought, I don't know, maybe people try to make me out to seem like I'm this guy that's so far right, when I guess apparently not, it says Facebook. So and I tried. I was like, I'll try to be as right as I can be, but being honest with myself about what I really think.
If you're a straight white male conservative, they look at you like you just got back from a Klan rally.
Yeah.
Mark says he repealed the personal mandate and lowered taxes. Yeah, he's done some major things. The human trafficking busts. There's big changes for the better. It's just interesting what's going on, and it's political warfare. So hopefully it does work out.
Like, didn't he just pass a law or something? You were telling me. I got a life, I can't just put all my focus on politics and stuff like that. And stuff, kind of I hear stuff, and I gotta like, I don't know everything at all. I know even a sliver of everything. But didn't he just pass a law about immigration?
Yeah, he signed an executive order to ban immigration temporarily, and then I think 24 hours, 48 hours after he signed that executive order, of course, Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, already was in the papers for leading White House, basically advocating for making exceptions, and he got it. They ended up exempting H-1B visas, basically importing foreign nationals to take our jobs, and it was on Tucker Carlson where they had some comments from some of these administration people, and they said that basically the stimulus was so generous that American workers wouldn't want to go back to work, so they had to have exemptions to bring foreign nationals in, which is nuts.
Yeah, and it almost to me appears like it's like Trump would do that, to appease his diehard fans, like to make them be like, yeah, Trump finally, and then it's an easy out to get other dude to to go against it and police these people. I don't know, man. It's just weird.
SOBC with the super chat. Thank you, my friend.
No way. Thank you. You son of a...
For the Corona Fund.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, bud.
Pros and cons.
Oh, are we off the Wi-Fi on this thing?
Oh, I should. Let me see. Why is it out?
No,
I'm
just
trapped in here.
It's trapped.
You don't know how to check the Wi-Fi?
You guys see AOC said don't go back to work? Yeah. Trevor showed me that clip. It's crazy, bro. Like, they want everyone to be dependent. And they're encouraging that. Like, stay and not go back to work.
Hold on.
It's just not good. Audio's good, but video froze. I thought so.
Yeah, because I had low battery pop up.
Alright, that's why. Trevor's doing the technician
I gotta
work
be
right
Joel
now.
and Esteban.
Love from Korea. I can't read that name. It's Korean characters, but love from Korea.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Amazing. Richie Evans says she makes 175 G's. That's ridiculous.
Who's that?
AOC, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, I just saw a video of her too, talking about how go back. We can't go back. Americans don't want to go back to work.
I love how they speak for everybody.
Yeah, and this is somebody who sits at home, doesn't work, who is just a bartender, making a shitload of money, talking about on other people's behalf, and she it's like she's not a working citizen.
No,
She's
not at all.
speaking for the people. Like, I know a lot of people that love to work. And I'm like I make music and it's creative. I love to work. But I think anybody that finds their groove in what they do and can put food on their family's plates, they're going to love what they do too, you know? And if you don't love what you do, find what you love to do. We got a call?
We got a caller.
We got a call. Pros and cons.
What's up,
Pros
Adam
and
and Danny?
cons. Don't you have to accept the call first?
No, he's on.
Oh.
What's up, buddy? I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I got you.
You got to use that thing.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Go for it, buddy. What's on your mind?
So I commented on the chat a little comment.
What's up, Blacktoria?
I said, wouldn't it be crazy if Trump was just control opposition of evil who has had millennia of experience of manipulation? JK, don't lynch me.
Okay.
And then the question towards that was, what motive?
Not sure I understand.
Somebody asked the question. Somebody, I guess, was saying, what motive does Trump have if he was controlled opposition, you know?
So what are you trying to say?
That he's being used
Well,
as a puppet, but everybody hates him. How would he be controlled opposition? Everybody that's any kind of influence in the media.
right. So just to make it really clear, I remember when the show was, when I think it was like the first or second episode, you guys were saying how you really wanted people to like make like discussions and arguments, you know, to spice things up. You know, you just didn't want people calling and saying, yeah, I agree with you, I agree with you, I agree with you. You know what I mean? Because then it would get repetitive. You feel me? So
Well, yeah,
I'm doing some devil's advocate.
Yeah, no, I understand. I don't know.
But what's your what's your argument?
So what was kind of going through my head is that I'm sure that there are countless of examples historically of controlled opposition where, let's just say hypothetically, because I know that there's a lot of people who believe in like flat earth and that Jews control the world and yada yada yada, blah 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 blah, occult stuff, da 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 da. You know what I mean? All this stuff. I'm pretty sure people can get a
Smoking pot. Smoking pot. Yeah, I don't know, man.
So yeah, it's possible. Anything's but
But yeah, it's hard to have hypotheticals like, say this guy's purple. You're walking down the street and it starts raining oranges.
I think it's more insane to just go with somebody and be like, Trump.
Right, but
awesome. He's the God Emperor of mankind. You know what I mean? Like Warhammer 40K. I'm into that kind of nerdy stuff.
right.
It's like
I get it.
Emperor of mankind.
I just don't think.
You know
I
what
just
mean?
don't
I think
think.
that's more insane.
Well, that's exactly our position this whole time. Is that you should always be objective. You shouldn't be a fangirl for anybody.
Yeah, until there's any kind of evidence that would have me conclude to even thinking that. I haven't seen anything that would make me think that. It seems like it's the other way around. That he's kind of is the guy that's the underdog that's doing everything for America. At least from what I've seen, it doesn't look like he's, like why would they use him to be, to be hated by everybody? It's like it seems like they're talking about Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't want to get too much into the historical things, but there are countless of examples in history of people who I picked to control opposition. You know what I mean? Like maybe one that was really easy was maybe like Julius Caesar or like Hitler or something like that. People who
Careful saying
were on
that
the
name.
opposite side, but they were
We'll get
just
demonetized.
Julius Caesar was controlled opposition? I never heard that.
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, he was a radical of the time. People really hated him. The Senate hated him. There was a lot of propaganda against him.
But the people didn't seem
to.
to. But the record shows that, from what I understand, that it's not the people that hated him. It was the elites, which is why they stabbed him.
The politics. Yeah, exactly.
But the Romans loved him.
The propaganda. The people who were putting the propaganda.
But controlled opposition. But controlled opposition would mean that he'd work for them. So if he was working for them, then
right.
Yeah, I don't follow the train of thought.
So here, maybe it's a problem of my explanation. So I'll try to explain it again. So think about it in terms of good and evil, right? I know Jesse's really big on saying this kind of stuff, right? Good and evil, right? So there's good and there's evil, right? So let's just say that evil, right, has so much experience and so much power that they would be able to have both sides of an argument, right? So they would have somebody invested into what would seem like the good side, and then also on the bad side, right? So it would just be good and evil. And I'm not saying Trump's evil or anything like that.
Hey.
I was just saying, like, what if he was controlled opposition? And I'm sure you've said before, I can't quote directly because it kind of slipped my mind, but there are some sketchy things that, has been gone under the radar.
Yeah, I don't trust any politicians at all. I'm not sitting here putting my eggs in any basket of anything because I don't trust. I think it's all bull crap, really. But I think that I'm a fan of the Americans gaining our power back because at the end of the day, it should be simple. It's like the government works for us and we should be the ones that are, voting on laws and all that stuff. But there's so much corruption on both sides that, but the evidence that I've seen and gathered is mainly from the leftists, which is why that I've, gotten more interested in politics and everything over the last few years because of that. Because I was like, wait a second, I got to divide myself from both things, all of it, and be able to just see it, because I took it for granted growing up and didn't really realize. I wasn't raised in that way where I realized that the people are the ones that are in control, and you're not living in some little, blissful land where everything's okay. It's like as you get older, you realize, oh wait, I got to do something about this, and we got to do something about it because that's the only way America can be what it is. It's the only place in the world that has the freedoms, and then we're losing them.
Yeah, and I would say it's one thing to be objective and distant. Kind of keep you stay out of the world, just observe it, but you don't want to live on what ifs. If you just keep doing what ifs, you're going right back into your imagination.
I used to do a lot of what ifs with ghosts and aliens.
So I'm going to say something.
Say something.
I'm giving.
So if you're saying don't do what ifs, is the world flat?
What?
Is the world flat? I think it very well could be.
Dude.
I can't prove it. Like.
Whoa. Did you say it very well could be, or are you saying it is? Because it sounds like a what if.
No,
like,
I'm not. But you're.
Is it or is it not?
The what if is the issue of you proposing what ifs. You're proposing the question. I'm not. I'm giving you the answer. I'm giving you my answer.
We're beyond that. I'm asking about the flat Earth. Is the world flat or not? Yes or no?
Can you prove it?
No, I'm asking you.
Well, that's what I'm
You
saying.
don't turn it on me. I'm asking you.
Well, it's our show. Can you prove it?
I could. I mean, I've been raised to believe that it's round.
Okay.
And I haven't seen.
That's a power play, right? That's a power play right there. I'm just asking, like, it's just a yes or no.
That's not a yes or no necessarily, because that's something that I can't prove to you.
Come on.
You can't. I mean, you can't prove it.
It's the same thing. If you're gonna say, well, if it's what ifs, you're in your.
No, you can't. No, you can't, because
you're the one proposing it.
You have no evidence on. You have no evidence. You just have hypotheticals. When you're talking about the Earth being round or flat, there's evidence of of the world being round, and then there's other people that have evidence of it being flat from cameras and stuff. But I mean,
I'm not trying to be like, an asshole or anything. I'm just
watch the language.
So
we're on YouTube.
that there's evidence that the world is round, so the world is round, right?
No.
I assume it's round.
I can't conclude.
So Trevor says it's round. Richard says he can't conclude.
Yeah, I don't believe it's what they said. That's for sure. Just based on, everything's usually upside down in this world. What they tell us is usually come out to be false. So very likely it's not what they said. That's where I stand until I can prove it. But wasting my time like I used to when I was younger, living in my head about what ifs, endless what ifs, and asking these questions doesn't help. I just know that they lie a lot, and there's a lot of holes in the data and the science, and that's good enough for me, and I can just move on with my life.
Yeah, and my whole thing is it doesn't matter if it's round or flat. Well, it doesn't affect my life at all. All it is.
Yeah, either way, we believe in God, so
yeah.
that's the end all be all.
I agree. I absolutely 100%. Like I said, this is just
smoking pot.
Sorry, my pronunciation's all messed up. Devil's advocate type stuff. I 100% agree with you guys that there's no 100% way to conclude it, and it really doesn't matter at the end of the day if it's round or if it's flat.
So help me understand your initial question.
Yeah. So go
what's
back
your
to
initial question?
What's your initial question?
What are you asking?
Because I think you got us lost.
So
anyone in the chat know what he's talking about?
No, I mean it was really simple. It started with Trump being control opposition, and then you saying
no. But what was the question?
What is?
No. What is the question?
Is Trump control opposition?
I don't know.
I can't conclude.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Where's your evidence to think that?
That would be egotistical to give a definite yes or no to something that you can't prove.
Well, I mean, egotistical. I mean, I don't know about that, but.
Well, if you were to say yes and you can't prove it, that's being an intellectual. It's the same thing the left does. Is they conclude before they have everything that they need to conclude. So I wouldn't prematurely say yes or no. I can't say yes or no. I can just go by what the answer is.
I agree with you. I think we're misunderstanding. I think we're misunderstanding and getting off the wrong foot. But to go
Which
back.
foot are we on?
I don't know. What foot are we on?
To the explanation. It's like an Owen Benjamin thing. Everybody's gay except me. You know what I mean? But so here, let me go back to an explanation. From my experience, like I think Trevor said briefly, in politics, it's not right to just trust all politicians and just willfully accepting, Trump is the God emperor of mankind, right? So from my position, I'm just saying that if like how there's a really big quote that everybody loves that's like super woke, quote unquote. Can you guys hear me, or am I getting cut off?
No, you're there.
I just don't know if it's connection.
You're there. Just don't drop any A-bombs.
Okay. No. I'm not the one who dropped the A-bombs. There's people in the chat that always says the J word.
No. You dropped the butthole A-bomb.
It's all good. I mean, I'm still confused on what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel more confused than in the beginning.
So, there's a big quote that goes around with the woke, quote unquote, woke crowd. That's like, the presidents aren't elected, they're chosen, right? So that was just like a huge quote, right? I didn't make that up. I'm not saying, I didn't come up with that. That's just a quote that's been around since before the election of Trump, right? That's quote's probably been around for maybe 100 years or something like that, right? And so are we supposed to just assume that Trump is special out of all the presidents and all the politicians and all the people who've had power and money and wealth and influence on humanity? Are we just supposed to assume that Trump is special and he's not included into the weird things that go on?
It's not about assuming. It's like Trump has contributed at the very least to getting. Hold on, let me finish what I'm going to say.
Slow down, mama.
Yeah, if Trump has contributed to getting the young people interested in politics and getting them, like what I said about people realizing, hey, I'm an American. Hey, my voice matters. Hey, if I vote, I do something. Trump has created culture in politics. Like most people weren't in politics at all, and because ever since Trump came into office, people are becoming more interested in it and waking up to certain things. So that alone is a big deal. Even if Trump is not a good guy or whatever, he's still got people riled up to go, hey, we could lose our freedom, or hey, interested in what's going on, because not that many people were before.
Yeah, until it's revealed, it is kind of it's a waste of your energy to go that far into it, looking into it. Like I said, be critical of what we can observe. Is Kushner anti-American in some of his the policies he's pushing? Yeah, they don't benefit American workers. They actually don't prioritize us. So that's something you can conclude on because he's done it. All you can do is just kind of wait for more things to be revealed. To go further down that hole before you have any revelations about it, that's where it becomes not so useful in my opinion.
Okay, for sure. I like I said, this is more or less like I think Mark even said in the chat. This is more of just a devil's cause. My pronunciation's kind of messed up with the words. Devil's advocate. More than anything, because I agree with you guys. Like most, probably all. But
I get it. You're giving us some controversy. I get it.
Feel more interesting. I have a few other questions if you would take them, unless you want to. If there's another call or if you guys want to move on to something.
Well, shoot another question. Let's see.
Okay, I wrote a few down.
Let's start with one.
Okay, hold on. 1 second. I got it. Yeah, I know. I got you. Okay, here. This is the first one I wrote down, so I'll just start from top to bottom. Okay, so in terms of hierarchy, right? In terms of hierarchy, does there have to be betas in existence for there to be alphas? And then I have a follow-up to that, but we'll start there.
No.
Does there have to be betas in existence for there to be alphas? How can an alpha exist if there are no betas?
Because a beta is a man that is.
It's a state of being.
Yeah, his nature is out of nature, and he's acting like a woman.
It's just fallen. So if you're not,
that's what it is.
Yeah, you don't require it. You just go back to being what God intends you to be. So no, it's not required. You don't need betas to have alphas.
So there could just be a place where there are all alphas. There could be a group, for example, right? Let's just speak in one group, like one example. There's a group. They're all alphas, no betas. Do you think that's a thing? Is that possible, or is it there has to be betas for there to be alphas?
No, they don't.
Vice versa. It's
no, I think
so.
that
There could be a group. You're saying no.
Yeah. No, it could easily be. Hold on.
So you're saying
you're talking too much. You're asking a bunch of questions, and then we can't answer or say anything. You're saying that if there's a bunch of,
I think the connections.
If there's a bunch of alphas, and there's no betas, yeah, there would be men that are stronger than other men, but it doesn't mean that they're betas. It just means that if it was survival of the fittest, what are you talking about, physically, or like, well, what kind of thing? Because an alpha doesn't have to do with, it's not like the guy that goes to the gym and works out and he's like, oh man, It's about loving what's
you can
right.
have you can have a military unit where they all just fall in line based on the roles, and there's one leader. You can't have 5 CEOs, but it doesn't mean that there's betas, nor does it mean it's required. You know, so yeah, that's the answer. Dane is the new Earl. What's the next one, Dane?
I'm just doing things to spice things up.
No, I like it.
Okay, so it's a follow-up to that one. It's a follow-up to that one. So, are all men betas compared to God/Jesus in terms of hierarchy? Because Jesus said, God said, I am the Alpha and the Omega.
Wait, you said Jesus is
and
God?
that's biblical, right? So let's not get too.
Did you say
Let's not get too into biblical
Dane,
things. But
did you say Jesus was God? Is that your
go
position?
on, sorry, connect the connection.
Did you say Jesus is God?
No. I didn't. I said Jesus slash like in terms of like typing, like, you know. So Jesus and God, I guess, right? So Jesus, God and slash Jesus. In terms of that hierarchy, God over Jesus, Jesus over man, yada yada yada. We all know Jesse Lee Peterson, yada yada yada. Are all men betas compared in a hierarchy to God?
No.
Subservience.
No, I think it's the same question that you had before. No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What makes a guy a man an
the
alpha
other
is
question
having
was-
God operate through him, so it's actually real equality. You know?
We're made in His image, so if you can overcome and return to the way you were made and live that way, then you're an alpha. You are the way they intended, in the image of God. So, yeah.
So that means you're equivalent to God.
No.
Because
That's,
God,
no,
Jesus.
that's not the same thing.
Wait, hold on. And Jesus, for example, he said, directly quoted, and I don't mean to be all black and be like clapping my hands when I say my words, but like Jesus, for example,
Tons more cowboy.
you know, he
What's up?
said he's the Alpha and the Omega, right? So let's just say, hypothetically, I mean, I don't really know, to be honest, but Jesus was the pinnacle of a hierarchy, right? He's the king, right? Jesus is king. We was kings and shit. You know, Jesus was king, or he is king. In terms of that hierarchy, are all men below him
Tons more cowboys.
betas in terms of subservience?
Repeat that question real quick.
It's better to get to the point and say
Yeah,
something
yeah.
simple
Simple and
instead of
straightforward.
carrying on just like your mother.
I feel like I'm getting a lesson from Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson.
So God, okay, right, simple, boom, ready, here we go. Jesus, pinnacle of hierarchy, right? Pinnacle of hierarchy in terms of God, leadership, alpha, right? Does that mean all men under him are betas in terms of that hierarchy and subservience?
But now you're framing it as though there's a hierarchy and it's about an order. It's like the laws of nature. It's like in music, you know, you have all the notes and you have all the scales, and to create harmony you have to follow order, but there's no hierarchy. There's no notes that are better than others. It's harmonization and you know, working together and having God operate through us. It's not about better than and stronger than and all of those things. A beta is a man who is out of his nature and acts like a woman.
And fallen away from God. That's
Exactly.
it. If you come back to God, then you're an alpha. Are you?
Okay.
Have you been perfect your whole life the way Jesus was? No, you have not. Boy, bye.
Okay. Mark says
What's up,
here
Benjamin?
in the chat, Mark says here in the chat, y'all have me agreeing with Dane, ... We are total betas next to God or Jesus.
Yeah.
And then somebody else said, already overthinking it. Boy, bye. Another guy says.
But see, I wouldn't
these are
compare.
just questions.
I wouldn't
These are
compare
just-
myself
these are
to
just
God in
devil
the first
advocates
place.
Questions
I wouldn't
too.
compare myself to God in the first place. God is the Almighty Creator. I'm not. I'm a co-creator. So I wouldn't compare myself. I would use alpha and beta with myself and God. I'm a human being.
I get what you mean. But wait, what does co-creator mean? That's just me personally. I'm like,
What
does
is
that
a
mean?
co-creator?
I know
Co-creator
what you, I know,
means
to get me on.
co-creator
Yeah, what
means
is
that
that?
co-creator means that I have the awareness and ability to discern, because I don't create anything. I can only see what has already been created and co-create and use what's already there and pair things to create. And so it's just discernment and awareness to see what God's created. And that's the only way I can create.
Okay. I got you. All right. Move on to the next question, because I know there might be other callers.
As long as we're not losing people from it.
Yeah. Let's go, Dane. Pick up the pace.
Wait. No, I just want to be clear. You know what I'm saying?
What's what we're
And
asking?
people in the chat,
Be
they
short.
seem to
Be short.
They seem to be digging what I'm talking about.
Just be short and sweet. Next question. Shoot.
Just be short and sweet. Fuck you. No, I'm sorry.
What is
But
that?
okay.
Don't get in your feelings.
Okay. It's just playing around. Fathers who work all day, like let's for example, my father, for example, he was working all day and night. See what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he was probably around maybe the weekends, and that was it. And sometimes he had to work weekends. So for those fathers out there, this isn't really towards me. See what I'm saying?
So fathers that work.
Like, what should they do?
What's the question?
What should they do?
What's
what do you
the
mean,
question?
What should they do?
I just asked them, what should they do?
As far as what?
You know what I'm saying? In
but you
terms of because the day before.
What the hell are you talking about?
Dane,
y'all are trying to like got me.
No, you're not.
I'm trying to
clear.
understand that. Like, I'm asking these.
It's not
I'm
clear,
asking these
Dane.
questions.
Dane, it's
Because,
not clear. Restate the question.
Hold on.
So your dad worked a
So
lot.
I wrote these questions down. Wait, what? The
Okay.
connection's messing me up. What'd you say?
Restate the question. All you said was your dad worked a lot. What should he do next? What should fathers do next? That wasn't clear. What's the question?
Yeah, I think it's the connection, but in terms of the internet connection. So for fathers who work all day, I'm talking they work all day. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, they
go to
work. Got it.
Check.
Yeah,
What about them?
they work. What do you think? What is your advice? Should they do? Because the other day, I think the last.
Hold on, Dane.
Yeah,
Before you go on with more examples, what's the question?
Yeah, what should they do about what?
So for context, right?
Just the no. What's the question?
No, what should they do? What for fathers who work all day?
What should they do? What should
You know
they do?
I mean?
What?
They're not there for their.
What should they do?
For what?
Okay, no, y'all.
I don't know.
Dane, the
You're
question.
trying to cock on me. I'm saying.
No, bro. The
You're
question
doing
is
that-
not
you're-
clear. You're doing it to
You're trolling
yourself.
us.
Even the chat doesn't know what you're talking about.
You guys are cutting me off before I can finish.
Because we need you to get to the point.
I get that, but the connection's really messing me up. Hold on.
No, we hear you fine.
So-
Just,
Yeah, I hear what
You
you're
guys got-
saying. You're not.
here we go.
I don't hear you guys fine. You guys are all chopped up.
Okay, here's what it is. I'm gonna try and say something in 75 words that I could say in 7. That's from the chat. So that's exactly what it feels like. So can you say the question short and sweet and directly
From a
again?
guy who worships Owen Benjamin. First of all, he's got a picture of Owen Benjamin on there. So for fathers who work all day, they're not there for their children because they work, and their mothers are there to raise the children. So, because the other day, okay, let me finish before you guys cut me off and say, well, what about the question? So the other day, the last one, pros and cons. You guys were talking about how fathers who aren't there for their children, and the mother's raising the child, and the mother's hitting the child. You guys remember that? You guys were saying how the mothers hit the child and you know what I mean, and abuse the child or whatever.
So okay, we got it.
We got it.
What are you asking?
Dane, what's the question?
I asked it before. I said the context. What should they do in terms of
They're
raising
doing
the
it.
child?
They're doing
They're
it.
doing it. They're
Being
going
there,
to work.
being there for your family and your kid means that you are, providing for
You
them.
protect and provide.
And you're giving them an opportunity to have a life.
Yeah, simple.
But society and movies and everything trains
Okay,
you to
okay.
hate your dad
I mean,
because he works and he's always not
I
here.
just wrote that question down because I remember the other day, the last Bond Bros. You guys were saying how it sucks because fathers aren't there all the time and the mother's there with the son, with the child or whatever. While the father's working and they hit the child or whatever, and the beating isn't, in terms of discipline.
Oh,
the
father.
beating
Yeah,
isn't
but
as
that's
severe.
an example of a father not living right and checking his wife.
Exactly.
You're coming from the wrong premise.
Not being there means that when he is at home with his family and everything, he's the leader. He should be the leader, and he should protect the children from the emotions of the mother. And so being there means that he's there to protect the kids. It's not about how much time he's there. It's not about, oh, mom's around more than dad. It's about when dad's around, he drives the car.
Okay. Okay, I got you. No, yeah, I got you. I'm sorry if it was a while for me to explain it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a youngling and stuff, so I don't have as much experiences in
my advice, Dane, that I gave to Dane, my advice, Dane, and this will help you as you grow and you recognize you are young. Just try to use less words. The less words you can use, the more clear you will be. If it takes you that many words to say something, you're going to lose yourself.
Don't think about it. Just ask a simple question.
A simple question.
If you're reaching for, I get you're calling to be controversial and reaching for questions to be devil's advocate. But if a question comes that's easy, ask that one. Don't try to ask questions that are hard to understand.
I really appreciate it, man, and I agree with you guys a lot of the time, and I really like you guys do this thing. I have another question if there's not another caller. If there's another caller.
One more question. Make it good.
You guys are like, we're tired of this fucking.
Get out of your head. Ask a question.
No, I don't feel any kind of way.
Yeah, there's no feelings here, Dane.
No, it's just plain. It's just joking around. It's like with Owen Benjamin. When I do a funny voice, it means I'm joking, right? So, is there a difference, right? Is there a difference between classic cults and internet cults?
Classic cults and internet cults?
I guess it depends on what your definition that you've created in your head of those two things are.
I mean, a cult is a cult.
Exactly. You know, a cult is just a group of people.
That's like saying, what's the difference between a brown cow and a black cow? Just one's brown and black. So one's on the internet, one's...
Okay, I'll maybe put some context to it. That way we can get this over with and move on.
If there was
classic cult isn't like, the most odd... What's up?
No, I say if there was a difference between the two cults, the first thing that popped in my mind was that on the internet you don't know who you're dealing with because they could have a fake profile picture or whatever, and if you're meeting up at a real place, you know who people really are instead of who they're pretending to be.
Yeah, and I just say a cult is a cult.
Okay, alright, well, let me put some context to it. Let's say Marilyn Manson. Or, no, sorry, sorry.
Dane, language.
Dane.
You gotta watch that language, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my channel banned, man.
Charlie Manson, for example. Everybody knows Charles Manson is from the 60s and cults and stuff like that. That's a classic cult, right? So times progress and things evolve, right? In terms of structures, not evolution and human development or whatever. But in the original sense of evolve, not the Darwinian sense of evolve.
Jesus, Dane. Dane, the short answer is a cult is a cult. Don't overthink it. If it, a cult is a cult. Look at the definition of a cult.
I'm not over. Actually, there is a thing with, if you look up cults, there is a thing that talks about internet cults. How people, can get into like the Reddit chat line.
Well, how about you answer the question? Do you think
forums and
do you think there's a difference because it's a cult is a cult?
I think there is. Yeah, I think there is a difference between a classic cult like Charles Manson, for example, from the '60s, and the modern idea of a cult. I think that that evolved
You
in
think
terms of
it's
technology and communication.
But
and society.
aren't both things bad? Isn't it either way? Isn't it a bad idea to be in a cult?
Yeah, 100%. I 100%
All right.
think.
Then we
it's
agree on that.
A terrible thing to be.
All right, Dane. We're gonna move on to the next caller.
Appreciate it, bro.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Dane.
for sure, man.
Pros and cons.
Thank you, buddy.
Pros and cons. Pros and cons.
Peace.
Later.
Dane should probably forgive his
His
mom.
mom.
Cons. Pros and cons.
Dane should probably forgive his mom. Woo! That deserves 2 Ric Flairs. Woo! Woo!
That was like 3.
But yeah, I mean, hey,
We got what's the phone number? Call in.
Yeah,
So we can
let's
get
get some
people
other
here.
questions. If you got 818-308-5559.
818-308.
555.
Hey man, you got to say the number. Let me sing it. Criminy.
Sing it.
818-308-5559.
Steven says, Owen Benjamin is interesting, but I like to think of him as more of a satirist because I can't really take him seriously. He goes way off the deep end a lot of the time. Yeah, it's hard to tell when he's. I mean, he's.
But I don't want to be here talking bad about other people out there. Like
Yeah.
I'm not. That's not what men do. Men don't come here and gossip and talk about other men. Like let's talk about situations, life. I want to hear your stories, your maybe something, questions, whatever. Like let's just discover together. You know what I mean? It's not like be like this guy. I don't like this guy because of this. You know. So yeah, call the number.
Amanda Panda Woods. 5559. Yeah, but it was a good call either way. I mean, it's always, hey, we're here to have fellowship, so it doesn't hurt either way. Post the number in the chat. Here we go.
Where is our caller?
Go for it, Adriana. Ring that number.
cover. It goes like this. Drink with me and you'll be in a world of pure intoxication. Take a look and you'll see. I don't care about our nation. If you want a new paradise, choose some Zanzibars, yeah, chew it. This country, she says, screw it. It's all about control. Where's my coffee? There's nothing to it.
It's in the description. The number's in the description, but here it goes again. Yeah, it's always in the video description, but I just drop it in the chat.
It's, don't forget, 818
308.
308 5559. That's again, 818 308 5559. Yeah. You put a melody to it and you'll remember it a lot easier.
There we go.
What we need is a way to hear it better, so you don't have to keep getting up.
All right, you're on the air. What's up, Adriana?
Yeah.
Oh, let's accept that.
What's cracking?
Adriana?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh man, it's all good here. How you doing? Good.
Definitely listening. I've been listening to the last few days.
Nice, well, I appreciate it.
But pretty awesome what you guys got going on.
Just having fun.
That's good, right? Hey, I was gonna say, I was listening to, I sent a video, I'm not sure if you guys got it, but I sent this video about this doctor who's talking about the COVID results and how they're actually, I guess, Fauci, I can't say.
Fauci.
Fauci, he overestimated and built the model he overestimated the numbers.
Yeah.
And he was talking about just how the risk to death, I guess, is like 0.003%, and that they did a comparison against Norway and Sweden, and I guess Sweden isn't in any kind of like lockdown, but Norway is.
Yeah.
And even in those circumstances, all of the numbers are like pretty much identical, and so the risk is low. And that's the interesting thing out of all of this, which I found to be quite interesting, is that what has actually happened as a result of this epidemic is an increase in domestic violence and child abuse.
Huh.
Go figure.
That's
It's
interesting.
like blew my mind when I heard that.
I mean, I could see that happening if you got a beta relationship and they're home all the time. It'll just aggravate the anger that already exists. So yeah, that's terrible. But I could see that happening.
That's terrible, man. That's just terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. Well, you have people who, are drinking or, whatever in that mental state, like that beta mental state. And, you've got kids in the house all day long, and then you've got, just creates a lot of stressors on people that, may not know how to handle that, and so it becomes,
I think we just watched that.
How the paradigm shift that is supposedly staying at home keeps us safe, but actually...
Yeah, I think we saw that video
more harm.
just a few minutes ago before we started. It was a doctor
Yeah,
at Kern County.
I posted that one because it's insane. It's insane to me how people roll with. There's all kind of experts out there who say, different things. Not all experts say the same things, but it seems like the media, because the media is mainly liberal, lefty media, they all pick a narrative and roll with it. And if they don't shine any light on any of the other experts that are controversial and have different opinions about stuff, and they act like one expert's, they know all. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a narrative trying to be pushed, and I don't know. I mean, it goes into so many different layers. You can go down a rabbit hole with all of this, but there's definitely a narrative trying to be pushed, and it's just interesting to see that Dr. Fauci was the one that built the model that encouraged, what's going on right now with the United States. And he built it based on a flawed math. And, there's a lot of consequences to that. And, he's not really being held accountable for any of that. And I think all of that is in support, and he has relations, I don't know. I might be a little conspiracy theory here, but he's got relationships with Bill Gates, and, Bill Gates trying to...
It's not conspiracy theory. There's
a cure to this.
the Robert Kennedy Jr. just posted on Fauci's history working with Gates, and as well as Dr. Birx and Redfield. So they all go way back. They were involved in the HIV vaccine, which was based on falsified data, and so there's it's not conspiracy. They have a history of not being the most honest people.
Is Dr. Fauci still practicing medicine right now?
No.
He's not practicing right now. So how long has it been since he was in the game practicing medicine? Or is he just like a guy that used to practice and now he's like
just a
into
manager?
politics?
Yeah, he's just an administrator.
Yeah, and something that also was brought to my attention is that under the Obama administration, Fauci had some kind of grant or money that was sent to Wuhan to I think some kind of I'm horrible with facts, so I apologize, but he sent money over to the Wuhan laboratory who were investigating the viruses. I don't know, investing money into
Obama sent $3.7 million. Yeah, Obama sent money over there when he was president. So yeah, they've been funding that lab for some time.
Yeah.
And then Fauci gets paid by the World Health.
Definitely. I'm not saying people aren't dying, and I'm not saying that there isn't an illness, because, it sounds like there are some cases, and it sounds like they can progress, and things can happen, but it definitely seems like whatever was told to us is not what it is, and whatever that was, it's just, we aren't really living in a reality that, at least the reporters and the media and all that, they're not really living in a real reality of what's going on with things. They're pushing a narrative.
Are you wearing masks when you drive by yourself in a car? Are you following that, or do you live without fear?
No, well, I'm not gonna lie. I was quite paranoid at first because I go to work every single day. I have to show up to my job Monday through Friday, and so at first I was really paranoid a little bit because I was listening to the media and I was listening to the reports out there and going along with what was going on, and so I did wear masks and I did wear gloves when I went out, but as time has kind of progressed, I'm not seeing things. I still to this day don't know a single person firsthand that has been diagnosed, that has been affected by it. I've heard only cases and rumors of other people that know somebody that knows somebody, but nobody I personally know. So I'm still left with, is this real? And then the more I find out, and the other thing too is I've worked in the medical field. I've worked in the sales and medical stuff. And just the other day, I was in a meeting with the CEO of a medical group and a couple of doctors that were in that meeting, and they were all laughing about how, well, not laughing, they weren't laughing, but they were all commenting on the fact that there's very little activity happening in the ICU units, and that there's no, and the matter of fact, they're closing doors down, and people are being sent home early, and doctors aren't getting paid. So the business that I'm in, we actually have an opportunity so that doctors can participate and make a little extra money on the side. And we're actually getting more doctors involved, and we're getting a lot of people interested in our program. I don't want to go into too much detail what it is, but the point is that I was in that room with a bunch of people who are in that field doing it, who manage hospitals, who manage doctors and things like that. And I heard it from their mouths that nothing's really happening in their hospitals and that they're closing and reducing hours. And I've heard it across the board with other people that I know that are in that field. So it's an interesting thing that's going on right now.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that something's not right. And, people, I've said this before, people don't realize, because the media doesn't shine light on, the common flu or different strains of flu that happen every year. And, people die just as much as this is happening, and people will argue and say that it's not true. But there's experts out there, like the doctor I posted on my Facebook today, that says that it's just the same exact. There's more numbers from the regular common flu, and they're saying that the cause of death is COVID-19, just because they've been diagnosed with COVID-19, when they don't. There's all kind of stuff.
And that's another thing too, which it blows my mind. Like, a lot of these deaths have been reclassified as COVID because of the fact that they may have been, tested positive for COVID, but what they pass away of, or whatever their true death is, isn't COVID related. So that's another thing we have to look at when we're looking at these numbers and deaths, is that even, I think you posted something about, for somebody on, from the government stating that, if they are diagnosed with COVID, they are still counted as a COVID death.
Right.
So
They're padding the numbers. You can die.
It's just like that was COVID.
You can die of cancer. You can die of something else. But as long as you have a positive test, they would classify it as cause of death would be COVID. But they've also caught. Even the New York Times said that New York State added 3,000. I guess when their totals were 10,000 deaths, 3,000 of those at least weren't even tested. So there was no proof that they even had coronavirus, but they were classified as COVID deaths. So in some cases, they don't even test them; they just file them in that category.
Yeah, so it's just nothing is out as real. But you know what? Back to the question you asked me: do I wear masks? Lately, I haven't been wearing masks, but in the beginning, I did. I was taking precautions, doing all the right things, and at work, I was like wearing a mask because I felt I was doing the right thing. I was doing the duties that you're supposed to do. But then as time has gone by, and I've been hearing these things and kind of knowing for myself, not hearing it from the media, but truly, like I said, sitting in meetings and talking to people, it's like I'm realizing like this isn't really merit so much that's going on, so much that we're putting into it. So I stopped wearing my mask. I don't wear gloves. What I do is I wash my hands, which pretty common, but I do wash my hands a lot more than I did in the past. I'm conscious, like if somebody, I just keep my distance a little because I figure, okay, I don't want to like expose myself if there is somebody, and it is somewhat transmittable through, somebody has like a sneeze or something like that, it can transport in the air, but, just things like that, really taking basic precautions and nothing too crazy. Honestly, what I want is for California to reopen and just get back to how it was, because I don't want to wait in line at Costco and all these places.
And see, that's another.
Just so I can buy my bread and buy my milk.
That's another interesting thing about it all, is that it seems like there's a lot of people on the left that are trying to convince people like AOC that it can't go back to the way it was, and they don't want it to go back to the way it was, and that they're pushing that narrative, because before all this stuff, Bernie was running, and a lot of people were advocating for socialist kind of principles and policies with, and so because they're not winning, it seems like there's all these different attempts, like they were impeaching Trump, they were doing all kind of stuff, trying different things, and then all of a sudden now it's like it's almost voting season, COVID-19 comes. It's just, not saying that it's not real virus, but I think that it's like definitely blown out of proportion, man. It's just weird.
Well, I go back to that moment when Nancy Pelosi ripped up the State of the Union paper. Like, that was significant, because that was when Trump was talking about the State of the Union, I mean, he was telling us we're at the highest, lowest unemployment rate, highest stock market. Everything was going amazing. Like, we were on top. And Nancy Pelosi ripped up that paper, and in my opinion, it's so symbolic for me, at least the way I, look at timelines of things. Because ever since then, it was like, oh, we're under attack now.
Yeah, there's no respect.
When Trump, what was that?
No respect. Like, it's like people, most people on the left.
That was a serious threat. What she did there was a threat. And it was a threat to Trump and to America, because if you look now, we are completely at the opposite end of whatever he had at the State of the Union.
Exactly. His strongest asset was the economy that he's built, and so they had to go for that some way. And it seems like it's definitely a role being played from this virus to destroy what he's done.
Yeah, it's convenient timing, the push for the mail-in voting
Exactly.
and trying to keep the lockdown extended, which will make people more desperate, and you'll need to get more stimulus, which means more debt and more dependency, and people getting used to getting free money, and yeah, so.
Yeah, it's that free money. You know, I work for a part of the job, because I work for a guy who has 3 different companies, and I'm like part of little bits of each one, and one of them is the call center. And we had 8 people call out the week that the stimulus check hit. We had 8 people call out. They did not show up to work because they received free money at home. You know, and to me, that's like, okay,
That's crazy.
That's what, you know, socialism, all of that, that's what that's going to produce. It's not going to produce people work. It's taken the rights away from people wanting to earn and gain.
Exactly. See,
their
that's
own
what makes
employment.
America beautiful. Is that the American dream is to realize that we are powerful as people, and that we can do whatever we put our minds to, whatever we do. And you know, so most people, they, you know, because of school and education, all that stuff, they're raised from a young age to believe, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then they get this idea of what they want to be, or they'll have their parents, you know, force them to be something, and then they go to school and invest all this time into what they think they want to do, and then when they actually do it, they don't like it, and so, but they're like, oh, I've invested so much time in it, I have to do it. And like, to me, the American dream is to just, you know, do what you want to do, and you find out what you want to do by just doing it.
Isn't it? It's embedded in our Bill of Rights, the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness is that, you know, you working for what you working for your, you know, what is it? You work for what you get, or you get and you work. I don't know, something like that. Like,
yeah, you get what you deserve, and you deserve what you get.
Yeah,
because life is like, it's in our own hands, and it's in God's hands first and
that's why we have
foremost.
billionaires in our country. That's why we have billionaires in our country.
Exactly.
And it's
people.
and that's why when I hear liberals talking about, oh, they have too much money, they need to do, and it's like, no. And I understand there's corporate greed, and then there's corporate, you know, there are elements to the corporate world that, you know, can facilitate greed and can facilitate, you know, corruption. But at the end of the day, we still have to recognize that in the United States, we make billionaires.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're trying to breed victimization to make you feel like, you know, oh, I feel sorry for you, and you know, you can't do it, so here, we'll make it easier for you, and you could not work. You know, like, I, as a musician and an artist and stuff, I had a really hard time in this industry, and I took a big chance to walk away from the industry itself and bet on myself to create music, and know that I can get fans and get people on my own and create music. I don't need anybody, and I walked away from that because that is the dream for me, is to be able to be free, be able to be myself, be able to, you know, not be and feel controlled by this industry that's like, oh, I got better suck up to this person and kiss this person's ass because I want to get further in my life, and then, you know, I'm sacrificing myself to being who I actually am, and unfolding like a flower blossoming, you know, like, I want to blossom into who I am without that fear and everything, and I know that anything is possible, and I have a gift from God, and I want to use it and create music and songwrite and whatever I can, and the only way I'm going to be able to achieve that is if I do whatever it takes, and that could mean that I, you know, sing at weddings, you know, write a song for somebody, or whatever it is that I've had to do to get to the point where I'm at now. And it's like, it's taken this long to get where I'm at, and I still haven't started. It's like, you know, but I'm not crying. I know that it's possible, and I have to just keep going.
Yeah, no one's gonna come rescue you. You don't always. Not everyone starts with not everyone's born into a wealthy family or inherits money, but you have a chance to make those same moves and work your way up, and that's what matters. And some people just don't have that drive, and that's okay. Like, you know, you don't have to be poor your whole life. You can find a way out if you work your butt off.
Yeah, you know, well, you know what? One thing and this is probably, you know, not to, like, how can I say this? I don't want to be like, I hope I don't offend anybody, but I always look at, like, man, if a Mexican can do it, like, I can do it. Like, because right now, I was driving down the street, and instead of selling oranges, they're selling masks. And I'm like, holy crap, cred, you know, like, that's so brilliant. Like, they're out there selling, you know, masks, and I'm like, that's amazing.
Exactly.
You know, that's like, right there is the true, what is it, that pursuit of happiness, that idea of, like, look, you make your money, you go out there, you work, you hustle, and you get what you work hard for.
Exactly.
No, I totally agree. And like, our mind, we can't like turn our sky into a ceiling. You know, we have to be able to realize that utilizing our own time, it's like you could do whatever you want. In fact, if I wanted, I could go knock on door to door to people and say, hey, I want to sing you a song. Like, like how bad do I want it, and I of course have gotten in my head, and it's almost like I have to retrain myself because I had a manager for a long time who would do things for me. And so it wasn't until a couple years ago that I, became fully on my own, that I have to do things on my own, and I have to realize, because I'm creative, I'm great at being creative because I put all my eggs in it. Had I been great at doing everything and all the other things, I might have compromised my greatness in music. So I realized that, and now I realize I also need to find people that, I have to figure out what I need, and what I need is people that are great at what they do, and build my team, and at the same time not be blind to it, so people can't control me and I can't get screwed over. But being able to know, and ask questions. I'm not afraid to ask questions,
It kind of reminds me of Jesse, though. Like, Jesse doesn't do everything. He does what he does, but he knows how to, build his team so that things can happen for the studio and for, because I even saw the other day, Bill putting in the earpiece in his ear, and I was just thinking, like, wow, he finds the people that know how to do what they do,
exactly.
and do it well,
or
not even know how to do it, encourage them to do it, because I think in some cases we've got producers that have never been producers, and look at what they've been able to produce as a result of just allowing them to just try and strive and let them be.
Yeah,
it's like a sports team.
Building a team.
The coach can't play.
To build it.
Yeah, the coach can't play every position. He has to be in line with that gut instinct and pick the right people for those spots, and get them to play that role that he needs them to play. But he can't play. He can't be everywhere at once. So
yeah, and the thing about Jesse is that's one of the things that attracted me to him, and going to church and stuff like that, and seeing that, because I had once had a team of people, and I walked away from it because it just wasn't working out for me. And so I was like, what is it about Jesse, man? Jesse's able to get people to intern for him. There's a magic that he has that's able to, gather a team and everything like that. And I'm like, I need to absorb that, and maybe it's selfish, but it's I don't think it's selfish. I think it's just inspiring.
Well, it's observation. It's your observation of seeing what he does. And then, so when you had a manager, though, what was that like? What was it like to have a manager manage your activities, your stuff?
No, I mean, well, it was great because it was really just him and I, working from the ground up, doing, the only thing that was proven was the music that I made and his experience he had and his drive. We were opposites. I was creative, and he, had a hustling, spirit to go out and knock on doors and do stuff, and so for a long time there was a rhythm going on, but at the same time it was hindering to me because he was 10 years older than me, and he, instead of teaching me and having me be able to see how my business is operating and how my being a true mentor, I was left in the dark because I wasn't taught any of that stuff. It was him doing everything for me, and so I wasn't. And it was an entangled relationship of friendship in business. And so because I was so young, I wasn't able to really hold him accountable in the business things because I didn't know, and so when people are really nice to you and they're your friend and everything like that, and you get that close relationship, it's hard for you to hold other people accountable. Like, well, he did that for me, and and then that stopped me from being able to hold him accountable or even know how to hold him accountable. Because I went straight from my parents, believing in me and being in my room making music, to having a manager. And I spent a lot of my time having that sense of security of that government. And that's what, the timing I found Jesse, made it really, awesome for me to see and realize about myself, is that, wow, I've had somebody turn on a light switch on for me. And then when I walked away from it, it's like, I don't know where the switch is and I don't know how to turn it on. But I got to walk around barefoot on glass and find the light switch. But it's, Jesse's helped me realize that when I get anxious and think that I can't do something, it's like, it's all a lie. I know that I can, and it's just a matter of, reprogramming myself.
I remember, during the men's forum, when you were playing, and I think you got a lot of opportunities. You've had a lot of opportunities to play in other things, and it's sort of like things kind of just need to, it sort of lends, like, from what I've seen, at least, you know, and it's from a distance. I'm not like, you know, I don't know much, you know, other than what I see just from our interactions and all that. But I definitely see that it's like the things kind of come effortlessly, like they just happen, and you've been gaining a lot of exposure and things like that. And I just think it's very natural the way you're approaching it. Maybe now, I don't know. I don't know what you were before, but it does seem like the stuff that you're doing now just sort of happens. And
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe that's.
I was doing a lot before, you know, in the music world, and so for me, it seemed like I was taking a step back, but I knew that I needed to take a step back so that I could, you know, figure things out that I didn't figure out before. Because musically, I'm, you know, I know that I got that, but you know, with the whole Jesse thing is I didn't like scheme and plan that I was going to go in and do anything with Jesse. He helped me in my life, and so I wanted to give back to him, and I knew that the best thing I could do is what I do, and that's music. So I created a remix for him, and I emailed it to him, and I just told his, you know, I think Ermias, that, you know, here's a song I remix I made, and you guys can feel free to do whatever you want with it. And then I found out a month later that he had a church that was like a mile away from where I lived, and so I just started going. And then, you know, I met Joel the first day I was there, and he was a dancer, and I was like, oh, cool. And he knew the song that I had that got popular, Chivalry is Dead. And so I started kind of hanging out with Joel, and then Joel, you know, would ask questions about music and stuff like that. Like, at the end of the day, I know that the mentality that I need to have and continue to have is that I am a service. You know, I think that everybody should tap into what service they can provide for other people, because the mentality I used to have before was, what can you do for me, and where can you get me in my career type of thing, because I had this manager, and, you know, my ego was being filled up all the time, because I was like, oh, this guy's so dope, this guy's so talented, whatever, and when, you know, I realized that was all bull crap, you know. And so when I realized that I'm a service, and that I can provide a service, that when I reach out to people, you know, on Instagram or on social media or whatever, I'm not saying, hey man, can you do this for me? You know, I realize I say, hey, I see that you are, you know, you have this and this and that going on, and I do this and that, and if you need this from me, I would love to help you. You know, and I know that attitude is so much better, to just realize what service you have so that you can be a provider for other people. And I'm going to get something out of it, and I don't do it with the intention that I'm going to, but I get something out of creating for nothing. So if I can create for someone else and help them, I'm going to get something out of it, and because we both do, and it's a win-win situation, you know? Does that make sense?
It makes sense. You have to do things with no expectation.
I didn't expect to get anything from Jesse, you know? I as soon as I kept making these remixes, because, you know, Jesse would start playing them on the air. And then I noticed, like, that, you know, not being tooting my own horn, but I noticed that the songs kind of gave him a younger, kind of cool vibe, because they were like these remixes of himself, and, you know, because when I first started watching it, he didn't have those things. And so over time, it's just like we ended up putting it on Spotify, and it was Jesse's idea. He took me in the back room. He's like, man, we gotta put an album out with that. He said, we'll make buku money.
Buku money.
We'll make buku money, and I started laughing. And so then I was like, man, that's a good idea. And eventually we did. We created a Spotify for him, and then you know, Hake, shout out to the Hake Report.
Hake.
He's the one that, you know, he took on that task, and he's never uploaded music or done anything like that. And because the opportunity came, he took the initiative to learn it, and now he knows how to upload music and create an artist on Spotify, and it's awesome, just the way things unfolded, just by taking on what's in front of me, you know, all of us should do that. And I think that's why that self-awareness is key, because as long as we can become self-aware and realize what's in front of us, then we'll see the opportunities, and we'll be able to strike on them, as opposed to trying to create and formulate, you know, a plan in our head about it, because that's just going to distract us from being able to see what's settling in front of us, you know?
Yeah,
I think you said it perfectly with the opportunity. The fact that Kate had the opportunity to do something new, and he wasn't caught up in his head, oh, I've never done it, oh, I don't know, because that's what we do sometimes. When we look at these opportunities in our lives, and we think, oh, you know, oh, I can't do that, that's not me. And you just got to not have any thought and just do it. And it accomplishes. But didn't one of your songs get noticed by one of Trump's sons?
Say what?
Didn't one of your songs get noticed by one of Trump's? I and I can't remember, I don't know if it was Eric or one of the Trump sons.
Oh,
Junior.
yeah, I started just, I don't know if you noticed any particular songs, but I started making those remixes and just jamming out, content and stuff for a while. And then eventually Donald Trump Jr. followed me on Instagram, and
That was Donald Trump. Yeah.
I remember sending him a message. I said, hey man, I noticed, because he was having people come to the White House, and people on their stories, where they were posting there at the White House, like David Harris Jr. and certain people, Terrence Williams, and stuff like that. And I noticed they had a band there. And so I messaged Donald Trump Jr. I said, hey man, I noticed you had a band there, and they suck. I said you should hit me up and we can make jazz music great again. But he liked it. He didn't reply, but he hit that heart.
Oh, that was sweet. That was good. That's good. You got up there. You got noticed.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, the best thing to do, as well, knowing Trevor for the last 2 years or so, and had the same experience with Jesse. Like Trevor said it best one time when he was describing how he looks at the things he creates. That he's no longer attached to it, and even though you make it, you like it, sounds great, you move on. It's like raising a child, he said.
Yeah.
And then once you're done with that song, it's like that kid's 18, it's gone. You don't have any attachment, and then it just starts. Everything is just revealed. He's not planning it. And some of the funniest things he's come up with just came up in the moment, and just watching it, just from an idea or a phrase someone just said, and then boom, there goes the story. Like the F Outta Here song, that was just done in a matter of seconds.
It's weird how the least I
While
try.
Going Up is the best, though, hands down. While Going Up, that was the best. The remix that you did to that was amazing.
Yeah. So that's the best thing, is just stay out of your head, don't plan too much. Just go with your gut instinct, and that's it. And it just kind of pops up. And then also, if you work on something, I've seen him drop the project and move on to another one, and then come back to it. No big deal. You just go with each revelation.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions, Adriana? Or,
No, I guess that's all from me. I'm so glad that you guys took my call. Thank you for giving me this little moment to chat with you guys. It was great.
Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for tuning in for the support,
of course, thank you.
and being a part of it, because we don't know what this is going to be or anything. We found ourselves talking and having fun amongst ourselves, and it was like, well, what if we just filmed it, and especially with all the censorship and everything, I think that we should just start speaking out and trying to help people be influenced to not be afraid to just speak up and say what they want to say, and not be so afraid, because too many people are afraid of losing something, and we don't have anything to lose.
Don't be scared of what people are going to think of you, and because a lot of people hold back. You don't want to say what you really feel because you don't want to be singled out, but if you're coming from the right place, it doesn't matter what they say. Just like Jesse gets people talk about him bad on the left, and no big deal. You just keep consistent, and
you're just
how do you
worried,
feel?
right? Isn't that the case?
Yeah.
All right, you guys. I'm gonna jump off, but thank you again
All right,
for
take care.
having me chat for a little bit, and I'll be watching and commenting in the comments.
All right, thank you, Adriana.
Bye.
Pros and cons. The world blames your dad when it's really your mom.
That was a good call. Thank you, Adriana. But yeah, that's the best thing. I mean, watching him firsthand, and the few times I've been able to kind of help contribute without trying to contribute, that's how it should be. You're not trying to. It just comes up, just like an epiphany. There's no debate in your head. You just roll with it. Just the Holy Spirit, just let it come out. I just survived hail and a tornado tonight. Wow. I'll have to tell you about it sometime. Amanda Panda Woods. That's crazy. Where do you live? Dang, in his feelings. What's up, Brian? Alright, if I remember right, Brian, Kansas. We're not in Kansas anymore because it's Brian.
Was that the Brian?
And Benjamin. I think Benjamin's PA, but Brian is Kansas. Let's see if we missed any questions.
I mean, I'm gonna be tweaking tonight. I've been drinking coffee like crazy right now. I'm gonna be like, yeah.
Here's a good little insight. Tons more cowbell from earlier. The
Cowbell.
devil already has plenty of advocates. Just work on verbalizing your own opinions concisely. I agree. You don't play it just to play it. It should just be a genuine question from
Exactly.
from you.
It's contrived to do that.
You're forcing something.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's having you try to play God and create what you think. That's when I was talking about the co-creator and creator. Like when you sit in your head and you try and plan and scheme and come come across a certain way, or even subconsciously, because you could not be aware of it. It's not as fruitful as just being an observer, seeing and hearing and listening, and then striking when you feel that there's no thought. It just comes out. You know what I'm saying? It was like you don't have to think about it. You don't have to plan it, because when you just sit back objectively, you can see things as they are, so that you can know exactly what to do. And I'm not saying I'm the best at doing that. I just understand that there's so much power in that, and magic. And any time I've ever created or done anything that I thought was great, or it unfolded to be something, it was because I was just in the moment, out of my head, doing it. It's like even improvising, playing the piano, or doing something. Sometimes it's like I can't plan it. I feeling it, and it's not a feeling of an emotion. It's just it's being in the zone.
That's it. There is no thought. It's just like when I played sports or skateboarded. When I would mess up and hurt myself, or especially jumping off staircases, trying to do a handrail, I got hurt the second I started thinking about it at the last minute.
For sure.
Well, when I landed those tricks and didn't land on the rail, it's because I didn't think. I just did it.
Yeah.
And you just land, roll away, and you realize you nailed the trick you're trying to do.
And if you're in a fight with somebody and you're thinking about anything, you're gonna get hit, But if you're watching and your hands are up and you're ready, then you will strike when that moment is necessary, or block, or whatever it is.
Yeah. But that's it. Just and again, use less words. That's something I try to do. That doesn't mean I always use it, but it's worked for me. It's worked for some friends of mine.
That's how it is with songwriting, man. You gotta trim the fat and not say anything more, just to fill in because you don't know what to say. If you don't know what to say, don't say anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like I do that great. I just know that that's what I should do. So somewhere in there, I want to do that.
Like your first live stream was great music. Thank you. I've got some questions I want to ask.
Call in.
Call in. You call in again, Dane.
308.
A lot of estrogen in here tonight.
Yeah.
And it might not be the women. Victoria said, there's a lot of estrogen in here tonight. And then Amanda Panna said, yeah, and it might not be the women.
Amanda.
Yeah, men can get feminine with that energy. It's a fine line. It's like, I'm not speaking as if I've never been there. That's exactly what Jesse helped get us out of and get me out of. So I know how it is.
And there's no point of stopping growing. It's just it's everything is new. And the only way you really realize that you're growing is when you look back and see the difference in how it was before. Not with you're not judging it, but it's obvious that, oh wow, I'm being shaped into something new. And it's, I'm not thinking of it as good or bad, but in a sense it is good because I feel better, in a sense of I'm lacking feeling. I used to feel so many different things because I had that, emotional spirit, man. I would be on that roller coaster where I would try to find things to make me happy and because I felt sad or whatever. It was like all emotional. And I got it from my mom.
Yeah, peaks and valleys, and it's no fun.
But it's better to just be consistent and just be you, Oh, phone's ringing.
Kansas.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Kansas. Is this Brian?
Bros.
What's up, my friend?
What's going on?
Nothing much. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm having a night. I'm having a at-home COVID-19 snuggle fest.
Nice. So what are the pros and cons of the Snuggle Fest?
Well, I would say a bro is all us bros sitting around talking by the fire. And a con would be we need to get the economy going or we're all screwed.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, we do.
That's a pretty big con.
That's the biggest con, and it's funny how that Trump. I like that he put the decision in the governor's hands because as much as I would like him to override them, they're gonna go after him anyways if he does that and call him a dictator. So this way, I could see one pro coming out of this would be that people might start waking up and realizing just how power hungry these governors are, and these Democrats and Republicans on some sides.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I would add to that all those Trump haters out there, if Trump really was a dictator, I would believe he would be using the power that the globalists had already installed with the national emergency order. I think he'd be using that a little bit more hardcore right now.
Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts about the whole the executive order with immigration ban? They just got gutted after Kushner pushed back. Have you noticed a pattern with some of the advisors that he has in his circle?
Oh yeah, I think he's been surrounded by. He's in a den of vipers this entire time. It's like a lot of people say. It's amazing he's getting anything done.
Yeah.
But it's interesting too, because it's like, they say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, because who knows, who knows?
True.
He kind of seems like he's a real, chess guy. That's what everyone says. So who knows what's unfolding under, our noses that we don't know about, or what's in the long run of everything, It seems strategic, though.
Certainly.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. There's always behind the scenes with anything. With anyone who owns any business, there's behind the scenes. There's in a family unit, there's behind the scenes. So, and this is the top level of the most powerful office in the world. So, of course, there's going to be some top level. There's probably some ridiculous stuff that would blow your mind.
Yeah, I've gone down some rabbit holes, stuff that you can prove with government documents, and a lot of interesting things that happen in history that people don't realize. It pretty major, but just kind of just go unnoticed.
Yeah, and on the subject of Trump, I'm reading today all the pundits out there on every website. They're like, Trump says mainline bleach in your veins.
Oh yeah.
Where's the video on that, man? There's like every one of these articles, they don't have any, there's no link, and then when you go and look up the video, he's spitballing, that's what Trump does.
Right.
He's throwing ideas out there. He's like, hey, put a disinfectant in your blood. And by the way, a very effective disinfectant, quote unquote, would be doing ozone treatments. That is very effective, and that would be a disinfectant of sorts.
Right. I mean, even someone pointed out, formaldehyde, that's in some vaccines, and that could be used as a disinfectant. I mean, it's also a preservative and embalming, but, he wasn't, like you said, he wasn't saying inject bleach. He was looking to his right and kind of spitting ideas back and forth and asking them. He was asking them questions like, wouldn't that be, interesting if we can develop something that worked like that worked fast and efficiently through an IV?
Yeah, and that incredible spin took off like a rocket too. I don't know why. Just people were all about parroting that all day long. It was hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's
What you got in that vape, bro?
Oh, it's what's the flavor?
It's high. What is it? High chew.
High chew
Flavor. It's kind of too sweet though. I've had a couple days this new little flavor, and at first it was like, wow, this is great, and then after a while I'm like, damn, I'm gonna get diabetes.
Yeah, I don't trust that shit anymore. I used to smoke all kinds of stuff back in the day, but
oh man, yeah.
Now I'm done.
I smoked enough weed to buy a house.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Amazing.
So what's happening in Kansas in terms of your quarantine? Did they already say that are they going to lift it on May 1st, or did your governor push it back as well?
Our lesbo-crat governor, Laura Kelly, has it extended to May 3rd, and she will probably extend it, I predict. And it's tough because I think the last caller touched on this, but they have have it set up to where everyone's getting the extra 600. So in Kansas, the maximum unemployment is 458. Plus $600, you're getting like $10.58 a week.
Yeah.
That's pretty tough to beat for a lot of people, and so everyone's just going to want to stay at home. And who could blame them, really? You're making like
$4,000 a month.
Cases, up to like $2,000 extra dollars a month.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's crazy. I mean, I get it. Like, we definitely. I mean, they destroyed the economy. So, I mean, I know a lot of people are hurting, but it's weird. It is a fine line, and I'm no financial guru, so I couldn't say how much would be enough. But I would just say, just open it back up and get people back to work, and not dependent. The longer we stay on this stimulus help, I think the worse it gets for us.
Yeah, it's really tough because on some levels it's a multi-leveled attack, really, that sort of legislation that they passed, and that was the day that they were trying to pass it. I remember watching with Ted Cruz and other Republicans trying to stop it, and then Bernie Sanders gets up and he's like, we need at least $600. And they all, it was insane, and I sided with the Republicans, actually, because I knew what was going to happen. It's happening right now, and people are just gonna, again, who could blame them? You can make some extra money, throw it at the stock market, do whatever. A lot of people are gonna start doing that, man. It's you know, and you know, I kind of sympathize with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just hope they open up. I know I've heard several states already announce that they're pushing it back. I have no doubts California's not going to open up anytime soon. But I mean, yeah, that's the biggest thing. Just open it back up. Let people get on with their lives. That'd be the biggest stimulus we can get.
Yeah, and California had the studies come out. I don't know if we were talking about it the other day, but they found out that there is just like a vast amount of people, like the percentages of people who have got the disease and then have antibodies to it or survived it through it. It just far exceeds the number of people who died, and it brings the death rate down to like 0.5% or something like that. So California has good reason to not stay closed. They should we should all reopen. I think it's mostly BS in the first place.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. Did you have any questions or things that you noticed or anything interesting happened on your side of the country?
Well, not really. I'm just kind of, my whole deal right now is just introspection, which I would gather most people are doing right now, staying at home, looking inward, hopefully anyway. I mean, unless you're just freaking out for being an extrovert and you just can't handle it, which is probably going on too, but I'm just waiting for Trump to drop the hammer, man. You talk about that, the 3D chess or whatever, Trevor, but, and I think some of that's going on, but it could be cliche at some point where you just keep saying, oh, it's 3D chess, man, just let him do it. You know, he's only human. I mean, God doesn't pick perfect people, but he picks perfect people for the job, so maybe I'm just kind of like, coming at it from a worried perspective sometimes, which I guess I shouldn't do because it doesn't really matter, but at the same time I like to kind of war game stuff, and not that I can do anything about it at a level that would make a huge difference in a fast way, but I think it's good to talk about these things just to get the ideas out there. And I just wish Trump would come out with I know there's strategic times to do certain things, but some of these people just need to be arrested straight up. I mean, the information's out there. We have a lot of dirt on a lot of people. Yeah. What is the holdup?
Yeah, the Wiener laptop alone can be enough to put away Hillary Clinton, in my opinion, based on what they've alluded to and what we already do know she's done. People like her should be arrested. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for example, perjury in front of Congress. How about that one?
Exactly.
The FBI did. That's pretty easy. I mean, it's on camera.
Exactly. Falsifying the FISA warrants. I mean, they have them on the FISA where they use false information to get those wiretaps. This girl is on FISA. The dossier was already proven to be a copy of another report for another case that had nothing to do with Trump, and they just basically copied and pasted it and then put his name in there. Lots of things.
Yeah.
like you said, I don't. It's good to be aware of the moves he is making, and also be aware of where he's not making potentially enough moves. It can't conclude either way, but yeah. At what point do you just keep saying like, let's wait? You know, it would be nice if people got more vocal about some of those vipers in his den, and just kind of put some more pressure on him to do something. Because if he is playing chess, it's like, well, we can't assume you are, because we're not God. So you got to show something. You know, give us something.
Must be revealed.
Yeah, and at this point, it might be just a middle of the road course of action just to be reelected, which I believe. Well, I mean, whatever it takes for him to get reelected, I think it needs to be done. But who knows what that is? But we definitely need 4 more years of this guy.
Yeah.
Just because he's clearly pro-American.
Yeah.
Especially after the economy's crashed so hard, he's proven that he can get the economy to be awesome. So after all this, it's like he's our hope to come back with the economy.
Right. He's business people. I feel like they trust him. They may not be openly endorsing him, but they know he knows business, and he does perform well. Yeah, he's very sharp. So
yeah. One thing I identify with about Trump is that most politicians, they're like their whole careers they've been politicians. They're striving to be a politician, and they read from teleprompters and all kind of stuff, and they kind of just come across as, wow, that's a nice guy, nice personality, but really their actions are super lame. But Trump, like, you can tell he's a riffer and an improviser, and he's in the present moment, and that's where God is in the present moment. And he's like a regular guy, an American. He seems to be an American first and foremost, and it just so happens he became the president, which is enough more proof that America's anybody could do anything they put their mind to. And I don't think that it was orchestrated that he became, he was on TV before. It was like, everybody was rooting against him before, making fun of him, be like, he'd never be president, and then he was.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And we got to remember, too, I think for anyone who listens to this in the future or in the now, that I personally think that there was election fraud when he wasn't even elected, so I think it was just like a total landslide for the most part. And I think that the people that are pro-America and on our side, quote unquote, we are the majority by far, and I think that's worldwide. And if people remember that once in a while, that's powerful.
Yeah,
we
for
need
sure.
that morale boost.
Look at this. I mean, his rallies speak for himself. There's a lot of people there. Like, I see people online saying, oh, most people don't like Trump or whatever. That's only because the media paints it to be that way. But the reality is, if you really want to seek to find the truth, you'll see that a majority of America is rooting for him. And you saw when he went to India, how many people, it was like 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, people in the world are, more so than don't, are rooting for him and are inspired too. Like, China they were protesting against them because they were inspired by us. And right when they were protesting is when all of a sudden they got hit with that virus.
shut it all down.
Yeah, it all shut down.
Yep. It's definitely an attack. I mean, it's an attack on Trump. I believe that. And, I mean, no previous president in their dreams could have drawn a crowd that big in India. That was insane.
Exactly. I mean, usually it's mixed feelings. Like, I don't think Obama ever got close to drawing that kind of international attention. The media made it seem like he was this inspiring figure, but he had plenty of critics overseas because, obviously our media was very much biased. So people they painted a picture that wasn't exactly accurate, but the rest of the world is not being saturated with our media.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're holding down someone and raping them, and then like the cops burst in, you're not going to be very happy with the cops bursting in to stop you from raping the person over and over and over again, like say China has been economically with the U.S. or some other trade deals have been going on with other countries. To use a crass analogy.
Well, yeah, that's another point, is that we're realizing how important it is for things to be made and come from the U.S. We can't rely on other countries.
All right.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot, like as far as like medical with like computer equipment, like transformers, just the stuff that you can only get from Asia, where there's the rare earth minerals, and they got all those monopolies on that, which was set up. I think wasn't that with like the oil deals or something like that? It was back in the day. They set up a bunch of stuff with China, and they got like a bunch of rights to it. But yeah, all that needs to end because that's not good. We need to, and we can be energy independent. We could probably be independent in every way, actually.
Everywhere.
It's just getting the ball rolling. We just need to get these scumbags off our back. They're just kind of like sinking their teeth in right now, and we're just kind of like getting them off and flailing about and stuff. It's just, I just can't wait. And some people think that, like, my stepdad, for example, he says he pays attention to a lot of stuff, including like the Q movement, which we can talk about and whether or not that's good or bad. But anyway, he's telling me, he keeps saying, you're going to have a time in your life when you're going to see prosperity like we've never seen before. It's just going to be like a whole different country. And I kind of tend to agree with that. I think that that's a good, first of all, a good outlook to the future, and I think it's actually going to be true. Because if we just keep praying to God, everyone in this room right now, in this chat room, prays for a revival for this country. If we keep doing that, if we ask God to come back in, if we ask for the name of Jesus Christ to take us back and to bring America back and stop killing the babies, stop abortions, stop the corruption, then we will be given it. I really believe that.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think too is that, you know, if let God's will be done, and when we pray, at least for myself, I know that I pray for what I need, because I don't know what I need, and I don't know what I want, and sometimes the things I think I want are not what I need, and so whatever, I know that in the end it's going to work out, and that's why I have faith. I'm not worried, you know. I think it's going to be, even though it looks crazy, man, it looks like we just keep losing hope and freedom and all that stuff with the way the government's proven to be, like, you know, the one that's dictating how we are supposed to live our lives, when it should be the other way around. But I'm faithful that in the end it's gonna flip around, and we're gonna get our power back, and people are gonna be amped up to be proud Americans. Because that's the thing, man. We shouldn't be divided as people based off ethnicity or anything like that. We should all identify as Americans and be able to unite. And that's why the media does what they do, because the last thing they want is Americans to be united as one. You know, they have to divide us, and then they can control us.
Yeah, I'm with your father on the Q stuff, because I've been following that since the first drops in 2016. And you know, I can't conclude obviously, but I follow every, you know, all the little details, and it is, when people say it's a LARP and there's no good information there, it's definitely, I don't agree with that, because whatever it is, even if it's not real, you know, you take that approach. It is the only movement that's not asking you to just believe it. It's always telling you to question it, do your own research, and it's made people more aware of some of these the inner workings of government, these NGOs, and just politics in general. So even if it doesn't come to light, I think it's got more people involved, more people amped up to be American, and realize that we can turn this thing around 180 degrees and go from globalism and spreading ourselves thin to being nationalist and building our economy up the way we did it when we first were founded. I mean, we grew up, if you think about the relative age of the U.S., it got pretty powerful pretty quick, and it was because we did everything here. We were self-sufficient, we were isolationist. I think we kind of need to go towards that, and then that'll set off a domino effect with other countries, and they'll be, you know, proud to be, you know, Indians, make India great again, make the UK great again. They all take care of their own economies, and then bust their ass, and then boom, you got a golden age in every country.
Right. Yeah, I think America needs to be the leader of that.
Exactly. We're the only ones who can set that example. Everyone is looking towards us.
Yeah, and I like the way you look at the Q movement too. That's a great way to put it. Especially because, in my opinion, it's anything that's anonymous, to where a man doesn't put his own name next to something, is not usually something I would trust. It doesn't seem like a good idea. It just the anonymity of it. You could make up lies and it would be, it wouldn't matter, right? So whether or not it's true, that's what you just said without repeating it, way to look at it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, just it's kind of like Jesse said. It's the way I've taken it before I met Jesse was just, you know, have multiple narratives, you know, because you can't conclude. So all you can do is like a detective. You I have a case file for every line of thought, but I just won't be able to conclude. You can't ask for a yes or no, because I'd be dishonest. I don't know yes or no, but I can track it, and then you kind of see the progression. And so far, it has been helpful. I've seen it, you know, be a blessing in terms of getting information out there and pushing people to look for themselves, and that's the most important thing. Everyone is seeking now, or more people are seeking.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is a good time for America to sit back and reflect, especially. But and another thing is excuse me. There's a lot of subjects we can talk about for a sort of revival. There are things that are more important as far as time is concerned than others that need to be done. I would say one of the things is arresting people getting in the way in the media, in government. But also, there's other things. How did this happen? One of the subjects would be food and water. Why are so many people sick now? Why are people believing the hype? Why are their minds dulled? Well, it's because take a look at what's in the tap water in the cities. Take a look at the ingredients of your food. When you start doing that and you actually look up everything you can't pronounce, now you're onto something, and you need to get that out.
Exactly.
People haven't been taught nutrition.
Exactly.
And you know, another interesting thing is that because, you know, naturally our immune system is when we're conditioning ourselves to going out, interacting with people, and, you know, we're building our immune system because things are always mutating and changing all the time, and we're adapting. But now that they're keeping us isolated all the time, when we go back, it's like, what's going to happen if everybody's at home, not doing anything but staying home and not going out? We don't know what that's going to be like going back. Is it, you know, I mean, people's immune systems could be getting weaker from it.
That's correct. Well, there's the herd immunity perspective, and I think there's, you know, well, I think it's happening anyway. I think people are becoming immune to it. They're just not reporting it. They're just reporting the deaths from it, trying to raise the death percentage to scare people, so then taking their rights away. But how do people get infected in the first place from any virus? It's because they have a compromised immune system. It's because they don't have the nutrition they need. They're deficient in vitamins A, K, and D. They're deficient in trace minerals. On top of that, we're getting fried with radiation from frequencies and things like microwaves from Wi-Fi that other countries don't even use.
Right.
And when you do all this, you dull people's minds, and you'll make them believe anything. And they're literally like, you're a zombie form of yourself. And I know this personally because I used to be one. And I started figuring this stuff out. And this is kind of a good way to connect different parts of the world, say Kansas to LA or anywhere, most places in California, is in California, people seem to be more liberal. But the funny thing to me is that they're health conscious there. It's so strange to me because everywhere else you go, in the Midwest, people don't really know that sort of the organic thing or the like a nutrition perspective or like a chemical poisoning perspective of what the government's doing. So if once people get in onto that, then from my experience, you turn into you're like you go from if you're a computer, you go from being a Pentium 1 processor to like a Pentium 1 million, and you're just like, you're different, you're turned on. You can process everything better, you're able to detect a lie, you can be happier because now you're not pissed from being just sad and depressed and feeling bad all the time. That's an important point in all of this that people need to know about.
Agreed. All right, well, we're going to see if anyone else in the chat wants to jump in. Was there any other questions you had, my friend?
That's it, bros and cons.
Bros and cons. The world blames your dad, but it's really your mom. Well, all the best to you in Kansas, and the best to your father as well. I like that he's on that Q stuff. That's pretty cool for being older generation, but he's being hip to it. So.
If I could, one more thing before we go.
Absolutely.
Put a prayer out there.
Absolutely, man. Go for it.
That'd be
Alright.
nice.
A little prayer music?
Hit it.
Well, prayer. All right. I don't know if anyone out there, or how many out there are Christian, but I am. And Lord Jesus, we come to you today. We thank you for this show. We thank you for these gracious hosts who let us speak our mind in a long format. And we pray for a revival for America, that we would all unite and we would become better people and reach inwardly and fix ourselves, and then do our best to lovingly explain the situation to other people about how we can save America, and really just kind of just pray that for what we want a revival, we want our rights back. And Lord, I just ask that you fill everyone with your spirit to know his word and to feel the Holy Spirit inside of them. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you, brother. That was beautiful.
Thanks, guys.
Be well, man, and stay. We'll talk to you soon. If we come on tomorrow night, we'd love to have you again.
Thank you.
Later, brother.
Adios.
Amazing. That was great. All right, everybody. I want to catch up on some super chats from Lin Chen.
Oh yeah.
He was
Lin
dropping.
Chen.
Lin Chen is in the
I
house.
appreciate that.
My bro Lin Chen. We already got someone on the line. All right. All right, Dave. Hold on. I gotta read some super chats. Okay, let me go back and find these. Okay. There was one more. Okay, first